elections is approximately $3.5 million in fines that are owed by various candidates because of delinquent filings. And also, if you take a look down that list, there are a number of those who still show money in their campaign funds. I will, John Salona, who you may remember, the rep from North Providence, according to the Board of Elections, still has over $50,000 in his election account, and he owes well over $200,000 in fines. So my question is, given all of that, whether or not you would support a sunshine law that would say after a certain number of years out of office that those funds are then go into a different account, perhaps to help offset any state deficit. Oh, I'm sorry, and that's Dawn.
Yes, I would support a law that would allow the accrued campaign finance funds to pay off previous filings. I think that there has been a lot of news and that the campaign finance issues are very serious, and that's why I would definitely support the auditing. But I think it's also important to make sure that we're not creating a process that's too complex to prevent people from wanting to run. And I think that when you are doing a $25 fine a day on certain penalties, I think that can very quickly become intimidating to people who want to get involved in this, who, undertake simple bookkeeping errors. So I think the board does a good job at distinguishing between those two things, and I understand why.
So if you look at the report on the finances and on the delinquent accounts, there are a number that are $25, but there are also a number that are over $30,000 that I would suspect people would have come to the conclusion they need to figure another way to kind of file the reports.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of the problem is that when you have folks who are not able to write themselves a check, but they want to become a public servant, part of the reason that we don't allow the campaign finance funds to go in that direction is because we want people donate money to candidates so that they can run for office, not so that they can pay administrative fines. But I support doing this sunshine law as you described it, so that way folks would be able to catch up on their funds.
If I all of a sudden decide not to pay my income tax, at some point the government's going to go into my account and take what is owed to them. So I think it's common sense that the same standard be held for public officials and their finances. If I decide just simply not to pay fines that I owe, then after a certain period of time, yeah, that money should automatically be transferred to a separate account. There's no question about it.
I feel the same way. It's just a sad thing that these people actually had donated the money to the campaign individual to run for them. You can do a lot of other things as far as giving it away to charities and making other donations. But the folks that are actually, I think you take it one step further, and the campaign finance actually does a pretty darn good job. If you miss by a minute and a half, you get a notification from up there. Richard Thornton and that group up there is unbelievably on top of their game. I know because I've been a couple days late here or there and had to pay the $25 fine. So if you haven't paid or made a chance to pay, and you come up to another election cycle, I find it hard to believe that you even get down to run for public office. And
if you take a look down that list, there are people who are in substantial offices in the state who continue to owe fines, and there are people who owe as much close to $300,000 in fines that nobody's trying to collect them.
I agree, and also maybe some of the things that they do to some of our wonderful public servants, and they have no problem putting teachers, police officers, and firefighters' salaries on the front page of the Journal. Maybe they should put these people's names on the front page of the Journal and show them the discredit that they deserve.
Yes.
Yes, I think that money should come out and whatever they have. And I also think that they should be ineligible for public office. If they can't discharge their own campaign funds properly and have not paid them, they should not be taking more money from citizens, and they should not be executing the office. They take an oath to uphold the laws, not only of our Constitution, but of the state of Rhode Island. So that to me is important.
And just to be clear, and all your answers are fine, much of the thrust of the question is, among all of those people, there's still well over $100,000 or more that sits in these campaign funds. Gordon Fox, the former speaker, who is now being housed on the company's dime, has over $60,000 in his campaign fund. And you go right down the list, and there are a number of those. And the question is, really, what happens to that money, or what should happen to that?
There should be a statute that takes that money away. They forfeited that through criminal behavior. They forfeit that when they can't follow the election laws that are there. They shouldn't just get a pass. And it should go to Sunshine Fund and maybe help Rhode Island food banks or something else where it can help people in communities.
Mr. Smith?
The money should be seized, and they should be put into our dilapidating schools throughout our state, very simply. And the intimidation factor for people running and for office is not the campaign finance fines. It's the fact that little guys have to face opponents who are being funded by PACs and special interest groups. Right now, even in this election, tens of thousands of dollars are being dropped into a primary. And I don't think that's right. I think we need to have some more reforms that allow more people to run. You asked earlier why more Republicans aren't running. Well, there's a lot of Democrats and Republicans and independents that are afraid to run just because the person that's been in office for so long has this $200,000, $300,000 bank account that most little guys are afraid of. So there's many reforms that need to be done, but there's money that sits there when someone decides never to run again, and they can't use it for personal use, so it should all just be forfeited and put into education.
There are three things that people can do with funds when they're in the account. One is to give it back to the donors. One is to contribute it to charity, and one is to contribute to another political campaign.
Can I answer that?
Sure.
I believe individual donors, yes, should get the money back, but when a PAC or a union or a special interest group from outside of the state decides to put tens of thousands of dollars into a politician's bank account, that money should be forfeited.
Mr. Allen?
I am very much in support of what you mentioned. I also just want to say that this job is an incredible responsibility, and I feel like I have been on a job interview now for 4 months, and the job interview has been knocking doors and talking to constituents, and I don't take that lightly. This is a job, and if this were my day job and I weren't doing things appropriately, there would be consequences. So I think that there should be consequences for that.